Clients I work with who constantly doubted their work, the ones thinking no one will like this or I'm not good enough, all had one thing in common when it came to breaking free from that paralysis. And it's probably something you haven't tried yet. So let me share with you a simple, practical way to rewire those unhelpful thought patterns. So when working with these clients, here was the pattern that I discovered. The clients who had really difficult, challenging thoughts also had very difficult and challenging lives. But the ones who made significant progress all had at least one thing in common. And it wasn't just insight, not just awareness, because that is an important part of making any change. Because insight and awareness, that's when you start to connect the dots between past experiences and current habits. But what they had in common was practice. It was repetition. It was consistency. And then as they practiced, as they implemented a new way of being on a consistent basis, well, guess what? Their thoughts became more realistic, more helpful. And when this happened, they also began to experience more joy in their lives, despite their backgrounds. Here's why practice and repetition becomes a game changer. And of course, I'm going to share in just a bit what you're going to practice, but I like to think of this gym analogy. So let's just take a girl who wants to build muscle. So she's like, okay, yeah, I wanna gain like 5 pounds of muscle. I want the nice sculpt in my arms and my legs and my abs. So she decides that, she's just gonna go to the gym maybe like one time a week. And maybe some days she'll eat pretty clean, she'll have some salad with some grilled chicken, she'll have some sweet potato, she'll have some oatmeal. But then the other days of the week, she's just kind of like chowing on her McDonald's, or, maybe she's not really eating at all, or maybe she's going in the pantry to get some chips, and then maybe she'll just do some crunches at night. So if this is her pattern, right? If she's just going to the gym one time a week and or maybe she decides I'll just go kind of when I feel like it. Do you think she's gonna hit her goal of building 5 pounds of muscle on her body? Or let's even experiment with the opposite. Wait, say we have a man, who went to the doctor and the doctor's like, hey, you need to lose at least 50 pounds or else you're going to run into some heart conditions here. So let's say the same thing with the man. Let's say he's like, oh, okay, some days he eats pretty good. He gets in the gym kind of just when he feels like it, nothing consistent. Maybe he's going once a week, every 2 weeks. Do you think he's going to lose 50 pounds? And you're probably saying like, of course not, right? That's just not realistic. We can't make significant change. We can't make changes when things are just once in a while, here and there, when we feel like it. So I'm giving you this gym analogy because it's an important role when building what I like to call the pillars of mindset mastery. To me, the pillars of mindset are something that I just realized when working with clients, even working with myself. And if I had to begin to break down what these common pillars of mastery, mindset mastery is, I would say, okay, one is you have the knowledge, right? You have what you are learning. These are the techniques that you have learned. This is the video that you watched, the class that you enrolled into, the book that you read. And then you have the execution, the behavior, the doing it. Part of strengthening these pillars also includes intentional commitment. So reading it's not enough. Knowing it is not enough. You have to do the do. You have to execute. And that means devoting yourself, committing yourself to practice what you're learning. So for example, if you want to practice learning new thoughts, okay, well, are you going to practice every day in the morning for 5 or 10 minutes? Are you going to practice one time a week? Are you going to practice on the weekend? So set that schedule, put the time in for yourself to learn this new skill, and then give yourself a realistic time frame to learn this new skill or to implement this new skill. This is why I love the word seasons. Even when you just look at the season of life, you have summer, winter, fall, spring, it's what, three months or so. And then even if you look at college, your traditional college calendar is very semester based, which is usually 3.5 months or so. It's a season. It's a season of learning. It's a season of executing. And you're going to give yourself at least 3 months to practice it in this way. And then you want to consider your built-in reminders. How are you going to make sure that you don't forget that you are committing to this. Are you going to have Alexa tell you in the morning? Or are you going to have an alarm set in your phone that's going to remind you? You're going to have a sticky note on your bathroom mirror? Like, how are you going to make this front and center so that you don't forget? And to break it down a little bit even further, I would even say write it down. Write the skill that you want to learn down, when you're going to learn it, and how long you're going to commit to this. Once you learn the skill that I'm going to share with you in just a moment, let's just say, okay, and have that somewhere where it's constantly in your vision, or you're going to see that. So again, intentional commitment is a way to really build those pillars of mindset mastery. And there's another too, but maybe I'll share that in another video. And just to build off these pillars of mindset mastery, I want you to think about it for a second. You have these strong pillars, and let's just say you're on top of this foundation of these pillars. If you're rooted in a strong foundation and life starts throwing hard stuff at you, we have losses, we have transitions, doesn't mean that they're not going to hurt you. Life is going to hurt, but the difference is when you have a strong foundation, you're going to learn how to cope with those challenges more effectively, more in a healthy way. Let's say you're a creative or multi-passionate and you catch yourself having the thought of, no one will buy my work, or I'm not good enough. And you find that these thoughts are coming while you're working on your craft. And when that happens, a skill that my client used and a skill that you can use is using a breakthrough question. A breakthrough question is a type of question that's gonna allow you have some wiggle room on how you are perceiving the situation or the event. So in this case, let's say you're working on your craft and you're like, oh my gosh, no one is gonna buy this from me. Oh my gosh, I am not good enough. So when you have that thought, you can pause and you can think of someone that you really care a lot about, living or deceased. Maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's your pet, maybe it's your best friend, maybe it's a family member. And you're gonna ask yourself, okay, well, if my best friend said this and she was saying like, oh, my work sucks, I'm not good, no one's gonna buy from me, what would you tell her? Like literally, what would you tell her? And for example, one of my very first clients who I worked with, she was working on her book. She eventually published her book, but she was really hard on herself, right? Who's going to buy from me? What if no one's interested in this? And she was being really, really hard on herself. Well, she was also a teacher. And when she considered this breakthrough question, she thought of her students and she was like, okay, well, what would I tell my student if they did a project and they didn't feel good about it? And it began to provide her a new perspective on her own work and the things that she could tell herself. And let's just say I had a friend who was sewing and, she just sewed this turtleneck and she's like, oh, I really want to put it on my Etsy shop, but I think it sucks. And I think to myself, okay, what would I tell her? And of course, you want to be honest. I would probably really tell my friend, as long as like one sleeve wasn't like super long and the other sleeve is super short, I would probably say something like, I would totally wear that. Or really, that sure looks like a shirt that you would buy at the store. Or I might even say something like, I'll buy it from you. And if it wasn't good, if the turtleneck really was bad and my friend is telling me like, hey, like this is not good enough, I'd probably be like, well, the arms are a little crooked, but you could just practice. You would probably still tell a friend, like, maybe you can roll in class. So really the goal is just to help you shift out of more self-criticism and access a more balanced perspective and apply the same logic and compassion that you would offer others to yourself. So hopefully it makes sense. Now, I will say that sometimes negative thoughts can actually start in the body first. So if you do want to learn a little bit more of that, then I'll link the video in the description box. But there are a bunch of different ways we can learn to rewire our thoughts. So be sure to subscribe to either my YouTube or my podcast so that you can learn all the different ways. Because again, it's about building those pillars of mindset mastery. And there's more than one pillar. Okay, so now let's just put a bow on it. Number one is start micro. Ask yourself one breakthrough question. That's it. When you're having the thought of I'm not good enough or this is not good enough, my work will never sell, ask that breakthrough question on, okay, what would I tell X? what would I tell my best friend? If my cat was a person and they could speak, what would I tell my beloved cat? So really the goal is just to help you shift out of self-criticism and access a more balanced perspective and apply the same logic and compassion that you would offer others to yourself. If you were to say this, and be intentional about the commitment. Put learning this skill in your calendar and make it realistic, something that you know you can do. Ideally, right? If you could do 5 minutes every day, amazing. And set a season. Show yourself that you can commit to practicing a skill for 1 week, maybe 1 month. Again, it doesn't have to be that full season. It could be 1 week we learn this, next week we learn another way to manage our thoughts, but nevertheless, you're being intentional about the commitment by setting a time frame. And if you are a multi-passionate or a creative who does feel a little bit stuck in their thoughts about moving forward, you can download my free 30 days to clarity journal. And then when you download that journal, be sure to check your spam. It always goes in spam. Save my email or put me in the normal email box, because I will be giving out some more tools that you can work on. And the email is actually a great way to communicate with me right now. This is why I have been doing a little bit more mindset videos, is because I've had some more requests on this. So the more I know what you want, the more I can actually tailor these videos to what is being requested. So, all right, everyone. So I hope this was helpful, and I will see you on the next post. Bye.